I have been told the same advice for decades. Walk more. Get your steps in. 10,000 steps a day will keep you healthy after 60. You hear it from doctors, from fitness apps, from commercials aimed at seniors, and from well-meaning family members who want you to stay active. Walking is good. That part is true. But here is what almost no one explains clearly. After the age of 60, walking alone is no longer enough to protect your strength, your balance, or your independence. And today, I want to explain why. Because this misunderstanding is one of the biggest reasons people lose mobility far earlier than they should. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. Strength fades. Standing up becomes harder. Stairs feel steeper. Balance feels less reliable. And many people don't notice the change until something goes wrong. A stumble, a fall, or the moment they realize they need help getting out of a chair. This is not about fear. It's about understanding how the body actually changes with age. Here is something most people don't realize. After the age of 60, the body begins losing muscle at a faster rate than at any other point in adult life. This process is gradual, but relentless. Every year, small amounts of muscle are lost if they are not challenged directly. Walking does not challenge muscle enough to stop this. Walking mainly trains the heart and lungs. It does very little to maintain muscle strength, bone density, or fast reaction ability. And those three things, strength, bone integrity, and reaction speed, are what keep people independent after 60. In 2023, researchers studying adults over 60 compared two groups. One group walked regularly. The other group performed very simple seated resistance movements. Same age, similar health backgrounds, similar lifestyles. The results were not subtle. The seated exercise group showed dramatically better improvement in functional strength. Not gym strength, not athletic performance, functional strength. The ability to stand up, to lift, to stabilize the body. And here is the key point. These exercises were done sitting down. No running, no jumping, no machines, no gym. Just controlled movements that actually load the muscles. This challenges a belief that has been repeated for years. The idea that walking is the ultimate exercise for older adults. Walking is valuable, but it does not stop muscle loss. It does not protect bones effectively, and it does not train the fast muscle activation needed to prevent falls. That is why orthopedic specialists have quietly used a different approach for decades, especially with patients recovering from joint surgery. They don't start with walking, they start with seated strength movements. Because when muscles are weak, walking can actually reinforce compensation patterns. People shuffle. They rely on momentum. They avoid using muscles fully. And over time, that leads to less stability, not more. Here is another important point. Many people believe they are active because they walk every day. But activity and strength maintenance are not the same thing. You can walk every day and still struggle to stand up from a chair. You can walk every day and still lose balance easily. You can walk every day and still lose bone density. That is why today we are focusing on 5 specific chair-based exercises, not to replace walking, but to fill the gaps that walking leaves behind. These movements were selected because they directly load aging muscles, improve balance and coordination, support bone health, and translate directly into daily life. They are used quietly in rehabilitation settings around the world. They are not trendy, they are not flashy, but they work. And the most important one, the final exercise we'll cover, has been shown to improve bone density in older adults. That is extremely rare. Before we begin, take a moment. How old are you right now? And where are you watching from? Share it in the comments. We read and respond thoughtfully. Now let's begin with exercise number 5. It looks simple, almost too simple, but it targets a system that quietly weakens with age, and when it fails, independence disappears faster than most people expect. At first glance, this exercise looks almost too simple to matter. You sit down, you lift your heels, you lower them back to the floor. But what this movement does inside your body is powerful. Your calf muscles are not just walking muscles. They act as a circulatory pump. Every time your calves contract, they help push blood from your lower legs back up towards your heart. This is essential after 60 because circulation naturally slows with age. When calf strength declines, blood pools in the ankles and feet. Legs feel heavy, swelling becomes common, balance worsens, and the risk of clots increases. Walking activates the calves only briefly and lightly. Seated calf raises force of full contraction, repeatedly under control. That's the difference. Here's how to do it correctly. Sit in a sturdy chair. Feet flat on the floor. Knees bent at about 90 degrees. Now press through the balls of your feet and lift your heels as high as you can. Hold the top position for 2 full seconds. You should feel a strong squeeze in the back of your lower legs, then lower your heels slowly back down. That slow lowering is important. It builds strength more effectively than fast movements. Start with 15 repetitions. Over time, work up to 3 sets of 25. Once that feels manageable, place a heavy book or small weight across your thighs to increase resistance. This exercise is especially valuable because it places no stress on the hips or knees, it improves circulation, it supports balance and ankle stability. Many surgeons prescribe this movement even for patients who cannot yet walk comfortably. Do it once or twice per day. Within a couple of weeks, many people notice lighter legs, less swelling, and better stability. Now let's move to exercise number 4. This one directly determines whether you stay independent. This exercise targets the quadriceps, the large muscles on the front of your thighs. These muscles control standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, getting out of a car, using the bathroom safely, and they weaken faster than almost any other muscle group after 60. Here's why walking is not enough. When you walk on flat ground, your quadriceps barely work against resistance. They assist with movement, but they are never challenged. Muscles shrink when they are not challenged. Seated knee extensions solve this. They force the quadriceps to lift your entire lower leg against gravity. That is a direct strength signal. Here's how to perform them correctly. Sit tall in your chair, back against the backrest. Grip the sides of the chair lightly. Now straighten one leg until it is fully extended. Your toes should point upward. Hold this position for 3 seconds. Actively squeeze the muscle on the front of your thigh. You should feel a deep burn. Then lower your foot slowly back down over 4 seconds. Switch legs. That slow lowering phase is where most of the strengthening happens. Do 12 repetitions per leg. Rest briefly. Complete 3 total sets. The most important detail here is intent. Don't just lift the leg, squeeze the muscle deliberately. Studies show that people who focus mentally on the muscle during movement gain significantly more strength. Once body weight feels easy, you can add ankle weights or a resistance band. Strong quadriceps protect your knees, reduce arthritis stress, and dramatically lower fall risk. Now, the next exercise targets a muscle group most people never think about until they trip. And when hip control is lost, falls become far more likely. Your hip flexor muscles quietly control how safely you walk. These muscles lift your thigh every time you take a step. When they weaken, something subtle but dangerous happens. Your steps become shorter. Your feet barely clear the ground. You begin to shuffle instead of stepping. That's why so many falls happen on flat surfaces with no obstacles at all. It's not clumsiness, it's weakness. Large rehabilitation studies consistently show that hip flexor weakness is one of the strongest predictors of fall risk after 60. Walking alone does not train these muscles enough. Seated hip marches do. Here's how to perform them properly. Sit on the front half of your chair. Do not lean back. Sit tall with your chest open. Lightly engage your core. Now lift your right knee toward your chest as high as you comfortably can. Your foot should fully leave the floor. Hold that position for 2 seconds. You should feel the work in the front of your hip. Then lower the foot slowly and switch sides. That's 1 repetition. Move slowly. No swinging, no momentum. Aim for 20 total repetitions, alternating legs. Complete 3 sets, resting about 1 minute between sets. To increase difficulty, hold the lifted position for 5 seconds. Add light ankle weights, slow the lowering phase even more. This exercise does something walking cannot. It trains leg lift strength, core stability, and balance control at the same time. Many surgeons report that patients who practice hip marches before joint surgery recover faster afterward because their movement control is already strong. Now we move to exercise number 2, the posture protector. This exercise targets the muscles that keep you upright. Your upper back muscles, including the lats, rhomboids, and rear shoulders, are responsible for posture, breathing capacity, and balance alignment. When these muscles weaken, gravity slowly pulls you forward. Shoulders round, head shifts forward. Breathing becomes shallow. Balance worsens. Walking does nothing for these muscles. Your arms simply swing passively. Seated rows restore what walking ignores. Here's how to do them safely and effectively. You'll need a resistance band. Sit tall in a chair. Feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Loop the band around the soles of your feet. Hold one end in each hand. Start with your arms extended forward with light tension in the band. Now pull your elbows back. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Imagine pinching a pencil between them. Hold that squeeze for 2 seconds. Then slowly extend your arms forward again. Control the movement. Do not let the band snap back. Perform 15 repetitions. Complete 3 sets. The last few repetitions should feel challenging but controlled. If it feels too easy, use a thicker band or shorten the band length. This exercise improves posture, breathing capacity, neck and shoulder comfort, balance alignment. Studies consistently show that seniors who strengthen their upper back experience fewer falls and less chronic pain. Strong back muscles act like support cables, keeping your spine aligned and your center of gravity stable. Now we're ready for exercise number 1. This is the most important movement on the list, and the one most strongly linked to long-term independence. If you only do one exercise from this entire video, make it this one. Not because it looks impressive, not because it's trendy, but because it directly determines how long you stay independent. The sit-to-stand movement is something you perform dozens of times every day. Getting out of bed, standing up from the toilet, rising from a chair, getting out of a car. When this movement weakens, life quietly shrinks. People start avoiding low chairs. They hesitate to go out. They rely on armrests, walls, or other people. Eventually, many stop trusting their own body. Large long-term studies show something striking. Adults who struggle with standing up from a seated position have significantly higher rates of injury, loss of independence, and overall decline. Not because the chair is dangerous, because the movement reveals how well your muscles, bones, balance, and nervous system work together. Walking does not train this. Sit-to-stand squats do. Here's how to perform them correctly. Start seated on a sturdy chair. Feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than hip width. Toes pointed slightly outward. Cross your arms over your chest. Now lean forward just enough so your weight shifts over your feet. Push through your heels and stand up fully. At the top, pause for 1 second. Then slowly lower yourself back down over 4 full seconds. Lightly touch the chair, but do not relax. Immediately begin the next repetition. That slow lowering phase is critical. It's where most of the strength is built. Start with 10 repetitions. Work up to 3 sets of 15. Once that feels manageable, you can increase difficulty without heavy weights. Slow the descent to 6 to 8 seconds. Hold a light object close to your chest. Lower to a slightly lower surface. This movement strengthens thighs, hips, glutes, calves, core, bone density. Research consistently shows that controlled sit-to-stand training improves leg strength, balance confidence, and bone health far more effectively than walking alone. Many orthopedic specialists now treat this movement as preventive medicine, because people who can stand up confidently recover faster from injuries and avoid many of them altogether. Walking is not bad. You should keep walking, but walking only trains one direction of movement, forward. It does not rebuild lost muscle, train standing power, strengthen posture, improve rapid balance reactions, protect bone density. These 5 seated and chair-based exercises fill the gaps walking leaves behind, and the time commitment is small, about 15 minutes, 3 times per week. No gym, no machines, no complex routines, just targeted movements that train what actually declines with age. Do not try to do everything at once. Start with exercise number 5. Practice it for a few days. Then add exercise number 4. Progress gradually. Consistency matters far more than intensity. Your body can still adapt, even well into later decades, when given the right signal. Aging is inevitable. Loss of independence is not. Balance is not something you hope for. Strength is not something you assume you still have. They are skills you train, and when you train the right movements, your body responds, often faster than people expect. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these exercises feels the most challenging right now, and which one are you going to start with this week? Share in the comments. We read and reply thoughtfully. Thank you for watching.